All right, we're live, and thank you for those who tuned into the tongue drum stream. I'm actually going to redo that. Didn't realize that my audio was that hot, but yeah, we're going to be doing a ukulele course, and I plan on doing this until I'm sort of I don't have any more ukulele knowledge. So this is going to be designed to basically take someone from a fairly new beginner. Hopefully, if you have a ukulele with you, you have it tuned up. I may have to make a fancy intro video with that. And yeah, we're gonna talk not just about the ukulele, but also learn some music along with that. And hope you're ready for the ride. You'll see some chords on the top. We've got some basic "Twinkle Twinkle Little Star" and things like that today. So yeah, all right, here we go on our journey. B section, bunch of fancy things. All right. So we're going to start with some basic chords. Now, if you're not familiar that much with the ukulele, it has 4 strings, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can give these strings names, right? So you can basically say the G, the C, the E, and the A. Or you can remember that as green cats eat avocados. Which I had a student many years ago give me that one. So I enjoy that one. Green cats eat avocados, GCEA. Often, to avoid some confusion, I won't be saying high or low string. I'll be saying the string closest to the ceiling and the string closest to the floor. So we're going to learn how to basically just make a C chord. So, and we're going to build it note by note. So I know some of you are. I've seen my how to make made that video years ago about how to read the ukulele chord charts, and yeah, so it's basically that. So our first note is going to be open. So it's the string closest to the ceiling is going to have nothing played. It's just going to be played, and then we're going to have another open string. So we'd have 1, 2. And then the next string's also going to be open. 1, 2, 3. Right? So our first strings are open, going from the ceiling. And then the last string, or the one closest to the floor, and again, you can call it the first string. That makes it a little bit confusing. So I'm going to say the string closest to the floor, you are going to press down on the 3rd fret right there. And then you're going to strum all of those, and that's going to give you a C chord. And don't worry too much about how we're strumming for now. If you just want to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's good enough for now. You'll see some chords in the top. Let's see. Of course, I didn't appreciate the fact that it has my little live counter that's currently blocking my chord, so I better remember that one. All right, very good. So that's a C chord, right? So open, 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 3. Ooh, my voice isn't where it should be today. All right. Hopefully you have that one down. If not, again, you can always rewatch the video. Again, this is designed to be a series that you can come back and keep watching and keep adding on to. So let's go to our next chord, which is going to be an F chord. An F chord. And these chords are just made up of different notes, and we'll eventually get into all of that stuff. We're going to get into a lot of music stuff. Because I say I don't teach ukulele, I teach music, and I happen to use ukulele to get there. So this is going to be a little bit different because you're going to see we're going to have on the string closest to the ceiling, our finger is going to be down on the 2nd fret. So, right, there's the F. So we're going to go 2nd fret. The next one is going to be open, right? So that string is going to be open on the C string. And then we're going to have first fret. So we have 2, open, 1, and lucky for us, our next note is pretty easy. It's just going to be open. And that's going to give us a nice little F chord. So you can try going between that C chord, which you see on the screen, to F, C, to F. And of course, you'll have to practice this throughout the week. Not a problem. Now, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I know what you're thinking. Is there an easier way to play an F? And yes, there is. And I really enjoy it. And we're going to explain too much stuff. And it's something called an F Add Nine chord. Why is it called an Add Nine chord? Because it has a 9th note in it. So basically, it would have an extra G in it. I'm just going to call it, though, I'm going to call it a fancy F. Right? And the way you're going to play this is going to be open, open, 1, open. So if you like this original F, you can certainly use that. But this fancy F, which is actually easier, and it's called an Add Nine, you don't need to worry about that, will basically work in most situations. So look at this. All right, that sounded pretty good. It sounds great with the C chord. And the other thing is, and we'll talk a little bit of theory and harmony later. What's nice about the Add Nine part of it is it really doesn't change, fancy music word, the function of the chord. It's just sort of like basically an extra topping or sprinkle, right? It's still ice cream. Oh, different topping, right? Still vanilla ice cream though. C chord to this delicious topping of an Add Nine or fancy F. So if you hadn't known that one, that is a really good one. And I use that one all the time, and not because I can't play F, but because just sometimes I like that Add Nine sound, right? I like that fancy one. All right, so we have our C chord. So let's just review. Yeah, we're going to be doing this every Thursday at 10 o'clock. Yeah, coming up with a whole little course. Why? Because I enjoy ukulele, and I don't know, the streaming thing's kind of fun. Real quick, I don't know if we have any comments. It's a little bit tougher for me to see. We're also streaming live to Twitch, which I just signed up for, so there's probably nobody looking at it, and that's okay. And also Twitter, and I find nobody I know actually uses Twitter. And even though I have people on my Twitter, I'm streaming there for no reason. Thank you, StreamYard. All right, so yeah, if you have any comments, we'll talk about it at the end. So let's just kind of review. Oh no. So we have our C chord. And then if you want to go, you just go to that fancy F. And you go back to the C chord. Oh. Back to that fancy F. And what's nice with those notes is they only require you to press down one finger. And if you only learn that on ukulele, if you're able to tune it and do this, you will absolutely 100% guaranteed trick people into thinking that you know how to play. Because you do know how to play. You know how to play two chords, which is a lot more than many other people. All right, so now the next chord is going to be the tough one. That's when you give up. No, you don't give up. You keep going on. And that's going to be a G chord. Now there are some options to make it a little bit easier. The problem with the options are they're not quite as good as that fancy F that we just learned, because they're not used in every situation. This fancy F, you see an F major chord, an F this, an F7, an F that. You could use that chord. It's good to go. But the G chord is going to be open on the string closest to the ceiling, right? Then we're going to have to press down on the second fret. Now, I'm going to recommend that you use your pointer finger. Here's your pointer finger. It's going to press down on the second fret on the C string, which is also the thick string. If you've ever noticed that some of your strings are a little bit thicker, this is assuming that you have a high G. But yes, that second string that's closest to the ceiling is going to use your first finger. And then this is the trick right here. If you don't believe me, this is really the trick. Your third finger, your ring finger. Right? That's where I have a ring on this finger. Also, I love my wife, but it helps me. Your third finger is going to go onto the third fret, right? Your ring finger is going to go there. And then finally, your middle finger is going to come down. And you're going to get this awesome triangle-looking shape. And if you build that correctly, you should be good to go. So watch, we'll build that a couple more times, just because this is definitely one of the tougher chords in the beginning, right? I mean, sure, you got B flats and stuff like that, and you have different bars you can do, but this one for right now is pretty definitely the toughest one. So string closest to the ceiling is open, perfect. Your first finger, your pointer finger, is going to press down on the second fret. So even if you can get this, you're playing some sort of kind of like sussy thing. That's cool. Sus meaning suspended, not meaning suspect, as the kids would say. Then the third finger is going to go on the third fret, middle finger on the 2nd fret. So I'm going to move that one more time. Try to get a little bit closer to the screen. So we have open string. We have the 1st finger going onto the 2nd fret right here. Let's see, how fancy can I be? Oh, look at that! I can still control this. All right, 3rd finger again. This is the key. Get yourself a ring. Get yourself a ring. Is going to go onto the 3rd fret, and then this one needs to sneak down. I've seen other people play it differently. That's the way you probably should end up playing it. So excellent. So now we have 3 chords. Let's kind of do our review. I should have put a review in here. That would be smart. Well, for next lesson, we'll have a nice little review time. So we have our C chord. Right? Open, 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 3. Going to... So I have to figure out the codes I wrote here on all the graphics. Going to F. Or fancy F. So that's a secret F chord, that F add 9. Fancy F. All right, and then going to G. All right. Very, very nice. So we have C. Let's see, can I get all these in there? Let's see. C. Going to F. And going to G. Now that's going to be the basic building blocks for many, 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 many songs. And we're actually going to talk about something called harmony later. And by that, I don't mean everybody holding hands. In fact, some harmony sounds like this. Still harmony. But so we're going to talk about some fancy stuff. And you know what? Let me give you one other option. Now, this comes with a warning right here. This G7 doesn't always work. So it could be used in the chords that we're talking about today. If you're playing C, going to F, going to this chord actually sounds really, really, really good. But there's other times where the chord isn't going to sound good. So if I were to go... why can't I think about when it would be the 4 chord? So D. Right, and it's bluesy, and it's probably not what you're going for. So this chord can only, you need to know when to use it, but it is a little bit easier. But you can always use your ear. If you like the way it sounds, I say go for it. It's ukulele, not violin. So what makes this one easier is if we're taking it from the F chord. Let's see. Let's see. If we're taking it from the F chord. Yep, that's G. Opened up Microsoft Numbers. Oh, we're going down. We're going down fast, everybody. Hold on. All right. So let's see. All right. So let's say we're going from our. Oh, there we go. Not fancy F. Regular F chord, right? And you always want to be thinking about this. And this is music, and this is just life. You want to try to keep common things. And you want to try to have an economy of motion. So if I'm going from this F chord and I'm going to this G7 chord, you're going to notice that this finger right here, this 1st finger, everyone's favorite digit, is going to stay the same, right? It's a common shared note. So when I'm going from this F chord, all I have to do is drop these fingers, and I don't have to do all this really fancy stuff. Just dropping the fingers, dropping down. F chord drops down, and of course it likes to resolve to C, and we'll talk about that later. Oh, let's see. Do we have any comments? SWE drums. That background is looking kind of blue. Well, that is a fantastic pun. I'm going to just thank you. Thank you, SWE drums. Yes, it is looking kind of blue. Yeah, I'm not good with colors and things like that. But it's from CM. Well, you tell CM I appreciate it. All right. So moving on. So we're going to talk a little bit about harmony because, again, learning ukulele is fantastic. It's a wonderful instrument. But if you can learn some music with ukulele, that is when we're really that's when we're really talking here. So got some questions for you. I know what you're thinking. I want to learn ukulele, not be quizzed. Well, that's what's happening today. All right. So the question is, what is harmony? You'll hear people say that, oh, the harmony of this, or oh, the harmonies were so good, or I really like when that band plays, those harmonies, or oh, they sing in harmony, or this and that, or everything's harmonious. So the question is, what is harmony? And I want you to think about that. What is your definition of harmony? Thinking? Also, SWE drums. If you can let me know, I think the audio is better. Before on the tongue drum stream, I ended up having it cranked, and I listened back. It was unlistenable. So I think I fixed the problem. But so, what is harmony? Okay, so harmony is two or more notes and how they work together. How two or more notes work together. So if I'm playing a full ukulele chord for four different notes. Three different notes, four total, right? How are these working together? Does it sound at rest? Does it sound consonant? Does it sound dissonant? Sorry, I'm trying to make something a little bit right. Is there tension? And then how do other notes work together? If I play this chord progression, does it sound like it goes together? If I go C, going to F, going to G, going to C, C, F, G, C. And it's like, wow, those sound like they really go together, as opposed to if I did this. The same chord. Right, that sounds a little bit more random. So it's how the notes work together. And there is no right or wrong harmony. It's just how they work together. What feeling are you going for us, right? And that's an important thing. So, and the question is, why is it important to learn about harmony? And the answer is, wait, hold on. I'm gonna have you think for a couple seconds. Oh, we got some comments. Oh, audio's fine on your end. All right, I appreciate SWE. And thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's unlike last stream when I just for 20 minutes didn't realize that the audio was sounding right. Okay, yeah, like I said, I fixed that issue. That was a me issue. So why is it important to learn about harmony? And there are probably some typos in here. All right, and it's this simple because music is made of patterns. It's not a bunch of randomness. I know what you're thinking. Arnold Schoenberg says that it is well, it's not randomness. I mean, he had very clear ideas, but music is all patterns, right? I'm not the first person to ever play these chords together, and there's a reason why I'm not the first person to ever put those chords together, and it's because it's just music has a natural ebb and flow, rest relationship. So we're gonna basically talk a little bit about how music is made up of tension and release. Right. So if I were to do this, if you listen to this, chords that we sort of have. So we have C that we've learned, we have F, and we have this G7, right? One of these chords sounds like it's at rest and it's at home, and it happens to be the C. And I always refer to this as the thank you, good night test, right? If you were listening to a band and they were playing a song and they were going like this. Thank you, good night. You'd want to hear, because that's where it's trying to go. It's trying to go back to its home. And that's almost all music. There's a tonal center. There's an idea of that. Same exact idea. All right, guys, see you later. And you want to hear that last note. So music is made of tension and release. So here, very little tension in this chord. Here, there's a little bit of tension in this chord. And here, you really want to hear it release. So here's the tension and release. Right? Every classical ending. that's music, and that's one of the things to remember about anytime you're playing music: tension and release, and that's really what we're going to be talking about today, right? Okay, so we're going to talk about some basic harmony, and we're going to basically call it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they all change. And don't worry about if this is maybe a little bit more on the heady end. It's all super practical. Oh, let's see. SWE drums. Anytime the audio does end up garbled, just label it as avant-garde, and you're golden. That's true. I'm just gonna be the 21st century classical composers, and people just screaming into pianos and hearing overtones and things like that, and prepared piano and things like that. So, we have this basic chart right here. And that's all the harmony for, all the basic harmony for, the key of C major. But we're just going to concentrate on this today. So we're going to think about C as our one chord. And the one chord has an idea. The one chord is home. Fantastic. Right? It's the thank you, good night chord. Our F chord, which is the 4 chord, is basically like we're taking a trip. So if we're going home, taking a trip, we're just out for a little stroll, but we want to get back to home, right? Taking a stroll, it's the 4 chord, very nice. And then the 5 chord is this chord that has a lot of tension, because remember we were talking about tension and release. And this tension wants to resolve, and the 5 chord really likes to go back home, right? So it's basically this idea of we're basically at our, we're at our home. Everything's just relaxed. We could stop at any time. We're out on a little bit of a trip. Things are kind of getting a little bit of a little exciting. Also, we go to this and hear this. You got a lot of tension, and it's always nice to release it. So the 5 chord has this pull to the 1. And that's going to be true all the time. It doesn't matter what music you're playing. 5 chord likes to go to 1. Does it always go to 1? No, because music would be pretty boring if the 5 chord always went to 1. But it often likes to go to 1. Right? So you can certainly go 1, 4, 5, back to 4, then back to 1. So let's put some quick examples on the board. And of course, no, not that. So if you're going to see up on top, I've just got the chords to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Hopefully that's coming through pretty okay. So what we have here is we have a C chord. Oh, and everything up on the top. I wonder if that's working. Can I actually point to the chord? Well, obviously then my hand's going to be off. Sorry, this is the first ukulele stream that I've used these. So, ooh, man. Anyone's out there, let me know if you're actually like, if I'm like, oh, I'm pointing to the C chord. Is that actually working? I feel like that should be working. I'm going to have a lot of fun. I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. All right. So the C chord right up there, right? So everything is basically it's going to be 4 beats in our boxes, which we're going to, we'll call measures, right? So you're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first box. Then you're going to go to the F chord, 1, 2, and oh no, there's another chord in the box. So, math. Oh, let's see comments. It is. All right. That's excellent. Sorry, I entertain myself quite a bit. And yes, thank you, Veronica Ann and SWE. Thanks you for being here. All right. So basically we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4 C's. And don't worry about up, down. And that's one thing with ukulele. People get really, really, they concentrate a lot on, what's the strumming pattern? And don't worry about the strumming pattern right away. Just worry about how many steady beats there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4 C's, Then we're going to have another 4 steady beats in our next sort of, our measure, our sort of box. But we have 2 chords. So this time we're going to go 1, 2, and then we're going to go back to C. 1, 2. But of course, we're going to count all 4 beats. So it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one will be 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So all of these measures for now, and of course this always can change, are going to have 4 steady beats. So all you're going to concentrate is going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If we're counting time. And if you haven't noticed yet, that happens to be the chords for the beginning of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, right? So you have Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. Probably not my favorite key. And of course, you can think about that as C, F, C, F, C, G, C, right? G's got the tension and it releases. Or you can think about that as 1 chord, 4 chord 1, 4 chord 1, going 5, going to 1. And of course, the way that we're feeling this is 1 chord is at home, taking a trip back home, taking a trip back home, and we really have this tension that we want to release, and back to 1, right? So twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Right, and that would be the A section of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, which is fantastic. All right, we're really cooking now. Let's see. Oh, forgot I had the fancy banner. All right. So if by any chance, I am 99.999% sure no one is watching this on a Twitch that I just made and happen to be streaming on. But if you are, well, thank you. I don't know how you found me, but you did, and that's half the battle. All right, so let's keep going. So then we have a second part, right? Which of course I have the little live stream thing in the corner, so I can't totally see that at all. So you would have 1, 2, then going to F, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, could you play it in a fancier rhythm? Sure. Do we have to necessarily care right now? Because you can pick whatever rhythm you want, right? So if you want to go. Doesn't matter what rhythm I'm playing as long as you have the steady beats down. And that's one thing that I think you should always kind of remember when you're playing ukulele. Just have the steady beats and then basically you're just tapping. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder. Right? It doesn't matter what the pattern is. Whatever the pattern is that you want to feel. Now, does that mean that you shouldn't learn some strumming patterns? Sure, learn some strumming patterns, but you're just tapping on strings, right? Don't complicate it. So one more time. So we have this is now the B section. So we have, I'm going to count the steady beats again. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're up at that G. I'm gonna start getting used to that. So we're starting here, going across, and go in there. Ooh, all right. Now, if we want to talk about, there's a part up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Right. That's just that part. Pretty simple. And if we're thinking about the harmony again, the way that the notes are working together or working against each other, right? Because tension is a good thing. You have 1 going to the 4 chord, 1 going to the 5, 1 going to the 4 chord, 1 going to the 5. And if we're talking about tension and release, we're basically at our home. Right, I'm sorry. At our home, on a trip, at our home. Lots of tension, want to get back to the home. At our home, on a trip, at our home, and we want to get back because it's 1 4 1 5 1 4 1 5. All right, C F C G C F C G. Now, did I use some G7s in there? Absolutely. So let's wrap this up. So if we were playing this, we'll play along section. The entire song would be, right? Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to be able to flip this quick enough. So if there's a little bit of a not steady beat at the end, right? So if I'm playing the entire song, I'll sing it first, and then we'll just kind of do the chord. So I would have twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And then we'd have up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Back to the A section. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And the important thing is that I know what you're thinking. Maybe Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star is not the world's most exciting song. I actually think it's an awesome song. But it may be the perfect example of the way a 1 4 and a 5 chord work in all sorts of songs. So, if all of a sudden you don't want to talk about Bruno, we don't talk about Bruno, no. We don't talk about Bruno. And you want to explain that A flat as being a 5 of 5 of the of the G, you need to understand what a 5 is, right? So it's like, okay, you sort of understand these things. And that's the important thing. If you can understand Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star in a lot of different ways, you can basically understand 95% of music, right? So we'll do one more. I'll tell you what, we'll do the chords. I'll call out the chords, and then we'll, and of course, if you have your ukulele, play along. Do the chords, and then we'll sing it out one time, and and then we'll be done. And then next week we'll have part 2. So thanks for being here. I think this will be helpful. I tend to be a little bit calmer when I have a ukulele, which is nice. Not the tongue drum, though. The tongue drum makes me nervous. It's always out of tune. Just working with the magnets. I sing way better with the ukulele. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Chords, right? 1, 2, a little bit slower, just steady beats. C, F, going to C, F, going to C, G, going to C. Next section. C, going to F, C, going to G, C, going to F, C, going to G. Back to the A section. C chord, 2, 3, 4, F, going to C, F, going to C, and G, going to C. So one last time, we'll play it out. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. And thanks for checking it out. Like I said, this is going to be a weekly thing. I don't know how many weeks it's going to be, but I know a lot about ukulele, and I enjoy playing it. So I'm thinking 1,000 weeks of ukulele. I don't know. Let's see. But all right, thanks guys, and it was a enjoyable time. Hopefully the audio was good. And all right, have a good one.